Hey guys, I believe I'm live. What's up? I'm Will. I run C# walkthroughs. Just make sure my levels are all here. This video, I'm gonna get straight to the coding after a little sip of my water. And obviously, of course, I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. How you all been? We're in the second day of 2026. I'm here in the east of England, in the United Kingdom, in a random location. I say random location. I'm in the east of England. I'm not at my hometown of London, but here I am, coding away. And as the title suggests, I'm building a small toolchain that aids developers that want to make 2D games for Windows. So without much further ado, my TV might be a little bit distracting. You can see it off the side of my OBS. Just a little bit there. I'll just turn it off. Sweet. So guys, if you've watched my previous episode, episode 2, or workshop 2 in this particular mini-series, obviously I've been working on Telefy. This one is part 3. And in this particular video, I want to taper off what I was doing from part 2. So I've been working a lot off screen actually. I did quite a lot of work, and it's funny how the most simplest logic in code can sometimes be the most difficult, and we're going to see what I mean by that. So I worked on my resource pipeline tool. If I go back, my resource pipeline tool, and all this does, so the concept. What is Parallax Engine UWP? I think I'll use examples. I think examples work great. If I go to my channel, hopefully you guys can see. Hopefully my computer. Oh, by the way, guys, I've been getting random power cuts in where I live right now. If the stream just cuts off without warning, I apologize. I probably had a power cut, and I will get back online. It's just been happening, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen. There's no power cut today. Anyway, so if I go to oh my gosh, where am I going to? What was I going to show you guys? I forgot. I totally forgot. Hold on, guys. Let me just put my dashboard up on my off screen. I was going to show you guys something. I completely forgot what I wanted to show you. Toolchain. Oh, guys, I can't remember. One second. I was going to show you guys something. I'm so sorry, guys. I completely forgot. There was a reason I was going to go to my channel. I'm going to remember as soon as I look at the archive. But anyway, yeah, I was going to summarize Parallax Engine. That's it. So, what is Parallax Engine 2D UWP? Go back. I've spent a few videos on my channel developing 2D games and making walkthroughs on developing 2D games. Let me show you the trailer. Let me see the release trailer for Parallax Engine if I can find it. I think I privated it, I'm not sure. This is the collision trailer. It's not the release trailer because I released the source code on my website. Anyway, we can have a look at this. This is the hitbox detection trailer, and this is just all based on pure framework. This I coded from scratch using C# and Win2D library, which is Microsoft's 2D game library. As you can see, I have a functioning game concept, collision detection, everything like that. So what's the point here? Guys, I want to create a toolchain, a toolchain is simply just like a set of middleware that allows developers to build things, right? To develop software. So I want to build a toolchain, a set of software that alongside Visual Studio helps developers make 2D games. Excuse me. Because one thing I've noticed about games development, guys, is that there's always friction. It's not about how can I eliminate friction when I develop my game. It's about how much less friction can I experience when I develop a game. And I think my toolware wants to sit somewhere between a game engine and writing a native framework. So I just need something to drink. Checking my levels. Excuse me. So this toolchain doesn't replace any game engines. This toolchain doesn't toolchain doesn't aim to replace game engines. This toolchain sets to create. This toolchain seeks to. How can I say it? I want to provide a set of features that help developers build games off Visual Studio and alongside Visual Studio, right? So I'll give an example. Here, if you do things from scratch, such as how I did my OG Parallax engine, where I released the framework, and I just showed you the trailer just now. I even show you a walkthrough over here if there's no ads, hopefully. It's quite important that I kind of like go through the housekeeping, because it just kind of helps for things to make sense. So here, this is all code base, you know, and the difficulty is that it's obviously I tried to do a bit of a tool chaining thing here, but it was quite tied to the session, to the runtime. I'm trying to decouple the runtime of your game and my tool chain, yet you can still use my tool chain to help develop your game. See where I'm getting with this? So that means where before with Parallax Engine I had to load resources via code just to say, okay, if I have a set of sprites, I have say a background and a samurai sprite, okay? And I load them in by code. Well, the toolchain can take care of that, right? So that's why I developed this feature, resource pipeline. My resource pipeline tool is to load in your assets as PNG files, all your PNG files, and eventually I will scale to like all sorts of asset files. So like, I don't know, assets can be audio, maybe text files. Perhaps you want to like write your scripts in for your game, for your, you know, like a storyboard or whatever. Text files, PNG files, bitmap files. Well, I know, I'm focusing on image files. I load the resources from directory. I'm gonna click this button. So I've been working off screen on this, and guys, I'm gonna show you what took me like about over a day to sort out. Literally, and I'll show you the feature. Literally, guys, just to create a feature or functionality, I was trying to build a functionality that crops a file path with delimiters, and then I assign an empty text variable to my crop file path. That took a lot longer than I thought. And it helped me to appreciate how in coding there are some what seem like junior level steps, but it's like intermediate in disguise. It's so weird because it's not about the syntax. The syntax is so simple. It's about the functionality, and I'll go through that in a second. It was just so interesting to see. So I'm on my 2D assets folder. I have a lot of like Parallax Engine logos because I had to like scale them for one of my deployment builds or something. I'm gonna choose one. Oh no, I'm gonna choose two of these. Now I don't know if this is 100% working. I tested it; it seems to be working. I've got two images: Parallax Engine Core PNG and Parallax Engine UWP Logo 2 PNG. I'm gonna open them, and as you can see, now my resources, i.e. my PNG files, appear on the monitor here. I can see what I loaded onto memory. Now, the thing is, let's say you guys are developing a game on your Visual Studio session, and you use my toolchain, and you want to load these assets, these pictures, into your session. How do you do that? How do I import these at runtime and rely on them at runtime when my game is deployed? That's the vision of my toolchain. I think there's a couple ways or so to achieve that. Oh guys, by the way, if you see this QR code, it's a QR code to my .NET Developer Mastermind forum. It's a free Telegram group. Feel free to join. I'm trying to grow a community of .NET developers, especially .NET developers that are interested in games dev. I want to grow our community on Telegram, where you can receive updates. You can even live stream on Telegram. I might have some live streams there too. Just to grow a community of, you know, like-minded individuals with regards to software development that we want to just like grow, you know, and like share ideas. So feel free to join the community. I'm gonna start updating the Telegram chat in a bit, like generally speaking. This is for my channel, but there's an associated group to the channel. If you know how Telegram works, you know what I mean. So feel free to scan the QR code if you want. So what's this do? Export resource to directory. This is really a test feature, but eventually, so if you wanted to load these images in your own session, external to the toolchain, what must happen is that there needs to be some kind of file path linked from the toolchain has to export these files to some directory where your session can see and rely on, right? And in order for, let's say this is a different session, this is like my game title 1, my game title say, there needs to be like a library or set of classes. I went ahead and named a class Parallax Engine Core. And this class needs to basically have logic that says, okay, look at a particular file path and grab the necessary image files, right? Because here's the idea. These image files could have been anywhere on my computer. These image files, I could have loaded one from the pictures folder, I could have loaded one from my videos folder, I could have had a picture, an image file, I don't know, my downloads folder. But the idea is I want to pipeline these things. I want to put them in one defragmented sort of pipeline. That's the whole idea and the benefit of using this kind of toolchain. So what happens when I hit export? I'm testing a feature, guys, where, as I said, taking the file path and relying and loading the file path into your own Visual Studio. So this won't probably be a toolchain feature as much as it will be like a class feature or a set of libraries like a UWP DLL that you import into your own session so that you can interact with the toolchain without needing the toolchain, if that makes sense. So I'm going to demonstrate that feature. And then in this particular walkthrough, what I want us to do, guys, before I continue with the code, is that I want to actually write this library or small class that loads metadata files onto a project from the toolchain, or thanks to the toolchain. And what the toolchain does isn't something that you can't do yourself. It's just the toolchain makes it a bit easier, right? That's the whole idea. And what I want to do is then eventually create canvas bitmap objects from those image files. If you know Win2D, you know what I mean. A canvas bitmap object is just basically a bitmap object that Win2D can draw and understand to, you know, draw on the screen. It could be like a landscape of a park or something, a picture, a PNG image of like a tree or something. And I want to load objects onto a scene using my toolchain and using my class/library. This is today's agenda. We're going to aim for this. If we can do this, then I think it's a decent live stream. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to hit export to show you guys what happens. I'm in debug mode, so I might hit a breakpoint. Yep. Now, here's the thing. I hit a catch, and there's a reason for that. So, man, there's probably a simpler way I could have done this. So, as you can see, oh, I can't load my session up so simply. Let me see if I can get it up there. I have two file paths. I have Parallax Engine _ core PNG and logo, and my Parallax Engine UWP logo 2 PNG. If I go to my locals tab, it's going to be really hard for me to show you guys because the text is so small. But as I step through, so what this does, I set delimiters. Actually, the easiest way to show you guys is show you the actual file that's generated. This is a meta file that's actually generated by my toolchain, and it carries, and this file contains my file paths. I think I loaded 2 images. Now there's 2 main ways I could go about this. I could have 1 file path per file, or I could have like a batch, a blob of just data in one. I could have a blob of data in like one text file, and then I could delimit the information. I went for the delimiting approach because I think it's just more efficient. But to delimit this actually took a lot more involvement from me than I thought. I set these delim parameters here so that I know anything after or before delim is information I need to parse for logic for the game development toolchain. So delim, between this delim and this delim, there's a file path, right? And after this delim, there's another file path. So now I have a way I can process. Of course, it could be a dollar symbol, this could be an exclamation mark, but I chose delim. I just chose to have delim as my delimiter. It's a bit human readable as well, so you know, it's alright. So my program knows, okay, if I see delim, I crop this. Okay, and that's my first file path. If I see delim, then my program knows to crop this. Alright, that's the idea, and that's what I achieved. And it took me from this line 64 63. Let's start from the top. 63. Took a few lines, guys. I must admit. To line 143. So you can do the maths. It's like 100 lines or so. 40, 60. Yeah, it's like 80 lines. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, parsing strings and concatenating strings and parsing chars can be a little bit of a chore with C#, because you have to really be functionally awake. I say functionally awake in the sense that it's not a syntax thing that's difficult. It's like junior basic level lib classes we're relying on. We're using like substring. We're using like toString element at, and we're using like char and stuff, which is calm. But it's like the logic behind actually cropping these strings is not so straightforward. So what I had to do, guys, and there's probably a very easy way to do this. I didn't rely on trim. I relied on substring. So if you know substring, all it does, substring takes a text, like say this line here, this text, and it focuses on one particular piece of text, so it crops, basically, right? Trim does the opposite. Trim actually deletes text to focus on what's left. Substring focuses on what you specify substring to focus on. So there's a little subtle difference between the two functions. I relied on substring. So firstly, I had to take into account my delimiter here. I had to take into account I need to store my crop file paths. And I needed some indexes. Also, because I'm dealing with zero indexing, I had an offset parameter just in case. Because when you're counting, say, the word delim, D-E-L-I-M, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you rely on text.length, I think it's length property, you get 5. Length or count, I can't remember. I think it's length, you get 5. But when you're dealing with loops, you always tend to be zero index. It's always a good rule of thumb to zero index when you're looping anyway. I broke the convention as I was coding. I went back to zero indexing. I didn't feel comfortable breaking zero indexing convention for my for loop, so I always like to start at 0, indexing 0 to between 0 and a range, right? Unless you really have to, I don't know. And you know what's so funny, guys? I had to rely on a while loop. Risky, huh? So I avoid while loops where I can, but here I had to, and I had some like fail safes to make sure I could exit my while loop. Okay, so while true, so I'm running an indefinite loop. I'm looking for the word delim. I'm looking for delim. And if my text, my file path, my blob, my my chunk of data says delimit, then I crop, as you can see here. Actually, I don't even crop. What I'm doing, I literally did this in segments. So I'm storing my indexes. So every time I'm counting a character of my file path, let's say my file path is delim c : / user / will. Let's say, for example, I'm counting each and every character, and then I store the character count under a variable. I'm also adding my index in the list. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is the actual cropping. I take my indexes and I use my indexes to crop the text, the file paths. So I have some fail checks, some fail saves. So if my count is just 1, I deal with things in a slightly different way, but I'm still cropping for that one file path. Because I'm relying on indexes that can step outside bounds of my lists, that's why I had to do it in two different ways. But if I got more than one, against that kind of zero indexing issues, it's probably a cleaner way to do this, but this is what works for me. I then I carefully make sure that I'm cropping words around delim in a sense. So I use substring so that I don't focus on the word delim, but I focus on the necessary file path. And then I store my crop file path, as you can see. You can't see yet, because I haven't really stepped through the code. I haven't got there, so let's step through. Good if I just show you via my debugging session. So I'm gonna hit a try. Let's see what's going on. So count is more than 1, count is actually 2. So my crop file paths, there's nothing stored yet. I'm gonna add my first element. Let's see if this goes through. So I'm gonna step through. Yep, that worked, I think. So if I go and look, hopefully you can see my C drive all the way to Parallax Engine core.png. That's been cropped. So I essentially got this file, and I got rid of the first delim, and I'm focusing on this. That's what that does. And I do the same so that I can get this directory, this URI. I think it's called a URI. This directory, Universal Resource Indicate, like I don't know, a URI or URL, whatever you want to see it as. I say directory, I suppose. So if I step through again, so we can get the second file path, because I think I loaded 2 images. If, else. Now the funny thing is, this will trigger a catch, because I'm actually going to step outside the bounds of the array, I believe, of my list. And this is expected. I'm using the try catch to my advantage, and then I'm just dealing with things a little bit differently. So I make sure that my arithmetic, so I'm using basic arithmetic, it's this bit here that steps out of my array, my list bounds, I think. So I'm using basic arithmetic to parse this, but then I just compensate for my outside bounds array, because I'm looking at indexes that are outside the bounds, because I'm at the maximum element in my list. So I'm just using the count basically of the index. Oops, let me get out of the way. And then I crop accordingly. Hopefully that works. And then let's have a look at crop file paths. I've got 2 file paths, as you can see. My C drive all the way to Parallax Engine core PNG, and then my C drive all the way to UWP logo 2 PNG, Parallax Engine UWP logo 2 PNG. I have 2 clean file paths cropped from my delimited one. This is cool because, like, as I was actually considering, what's that there on my, oh, it's with my desktop. Oh, sorry guys. I was considering, like, I was like not struggling, but getting this solution was involved. I wish I streamed it almost, because I would have liked to show you guys my thought process, but it's okay. Oh my gosh. So I'm here cropping my file paths. So what do we want to do today? Okay, now that we've caught up with things, we have our file paths cropped. I'm going to get rid of these breaks because we don't really need to look at things here. When I start coding, I'll probably put some music on. I don't know, see how I feel. I'm going to continue the program. And there are some things to know, like if I load some more resources, I don't necessarily refresh what's here. It kind of just adds to the list. Stuff like that, but I'm working through it. But if I look back at my agenda, what we want to do today in the code, so we can actually start coding soon. Now that we've loaded, we've essentially got these file paths stored in memory. We want to now save them onto a directory, right? Because again, remember guys, from this pipeline, these 2 happen to be in the pictures folder, these 2 pictures. But what we need a working directory we can rely on with all our assets in one folder, right? Or all our assets in respective folders in one working directory. That's what we need to do today. And then, so my toolchain has to do the storing, and I've got like a file store API feature to help me save data. And then what we're going to do is write a small class that loads this stuff onto onto a Visual Studio session. Just excuse me guys. And then I'm going to load these images as bitmap objects onto a Win2D scene. That's what we're going to try and do today if we've got time. So without much further ado guys, I'm going to slap on some music. I'm going to start locking in. And yeah, we're going to get started with this. Let's have some fun. Oh, oops. You just spilled my coffee. Just getting an ad, I think. Oh, what's going on? Alright, let's go. This playlist is featuring Sushi Musume. It's another playlist of Sushi Musume, so we've got some new tunes today. Let me know if the levels are alright, guys. So guys, just to refresh our memories, what I'm going to do right now is create a saving feature to store our file paths of our pictures onto a working directory. The involvement from a developer using my toolchain, say as an example, is that I might need to, if I was working using my toolchain, I might need to go into my own working directory of my toolchain, get my image files and put them into the working directory of my and include my directory or my folder in my Visual Studio session. But I can write code for that. I can write code in the class library that just literally pops up a file picker, and then you can just load them, and then there's like another feature that saves them onto whoever's using my toolchain project directory, stuff like that. So let's do things one by one. I need to save the files.
Syncopated, beating slow, falling into dreams that kiss reality. Nighttime takes us where we're meant to be. Streetlights dancing shadows on your skin. Dreaming wide awake, let's dive in. In this moonlit reverie we fly. No need for words, we touch the sky. Lost in the rhythm of you and I. Together we'll never wonder why. Every moment feels like deja vu. Timeless like the way we do. Clock hands freezing serendipity. Eyes locked in sweet serenity. Your smile paints colors in my night. Northern lights couldn't be this bright. Hand in hand we drift along the sea of midnight musings, wild and free. In this moonlit reverie we fly. No need for words, we touch the sky. Lost in the rhythm of you and I. Together we'll never wonder why.
With a swaying tree, hearts align when night begins. Moonlit love where magic spins. City lights are distant, fading far. Quiet night beneath a blanket of stars. Hand in hand we find a hidden touch of magic in your warm embrace. Through the shadows, dreams away. In your arms I feel our fate. Every whisper, every sigh. In your warmth I come alive. Moonlight whispers kiss your skin. In your eyes I dive right in. Hearts align when night begins. Moonlit love where magic spins. Midnight whispers, secrets close. Streetlights dancing, shadow grows. Moonlight lights a city's heart. Silent beats a brand new start.
Chill vibes lifting us so high, floating whispers in the sky, echoes of the world we see in this calm we speak. Raindrops tap on melody, window watching silver moon, soft embrace of twilight here, the white dreams are born anew. Through the haze the city gleams, in the quiet we find dreams, gentle notes and tender sighs, lost in lonely lullabies. Chill vibes lifting us so high, floating whispers in the sky, echoes of the world we see in this calm we speak.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. Asana AI can spot roadblocks and assign work to keep everything on track.
Under streetlights we wander slow, moonlight dances as shadows grow. In the silence our secrets flow, hidden places only we know. Midnight whispers the city's heart, every corner a mystic cloud, softly dreaming we're miles apart, counting moments where we can start, float above the noise and the flame, catch the night and drift away. In the quiet our dreams will stay. Close your eyes, let the music play. Sidewalk stories we leave behind, little wishes our hearts entwine, breathing softly our souls align, in the twilight so undefined, stars are singing, laying
Oh, I was not Visual Studio.
Walking under city lights, whispers of the neon signs, lost my way in sleepless nights, in a maze of endless roads, cafe shores and cloudy skies.
Now, does this file storage API cover image files? That's what I want to know. Must be aware.
Twilight dancing our goodbyes in the fog of silent crimes. Moonlit nights, our hearts still sing.
Ah, I see. Okay. Because we've got file paths, but we want to load the images from the file path into a particular location. Okay, this might be a little involved. Oops, I messed up. Doing this wrong. I don't need a file picking API. I need to just load the pictures that I saved, the file path pictures from my pipeline. So I don't know what I'm using the file picker for. Whoops. I mean, I could use a file picker, but it's not necessary. Unless there's fragmentation in the pipeline or something, or you want to pick particular files. So we can continue with this, just in case. So this code is from my Parallax Engine code base, my framework for Parallax Engine. I'm gonna port it over. I realize I kind of overcomplicated my solution, so I'm just gonna rectify things. I'll be right back, guys. Let's take a break. 2 minutes. Two-minute break.
Iced tea melting by my side. Watch the world in a slower ride. Ripples dancing on the tide. In this breeze where we confide. We got those lazy summer days, turning seconds into waves. In these moments, love replays blissful hearts in golden haze. Crickets sing their twilight song. Shadows stretch and grow so long. In this peace where we belong, nothing here can ever go wrong. Moonlight whispers through the trees, cooler nights and gentle breeze. Wrapped in you, my mind at ease. Every worry starts to freeze. We got those lazy summer days, turning seconds into waves. In these moments, love replays blissful hearts in golden haze. We got those lazy summer days.
I'm back, guys.
Lazy Sunday, sipping tea, sunset glow just you and me. Waves are whispering to the shore. Let's just stay the same. Clouds above us softly sail. Gentle breeze tells a tale. Birds are singing overhead. Forget the past and peace. Wake up, rise and fly away. In a dream we always stay. Rushing fast, falling low. In this cloud we touch the sky. Golden rays fall on your face. Every sneaking through the blinds. Lazy shadows twist and wind. Glass of lemonade on ice. Perfect day feels oh so nice. Clouds are dancing in blue. Time is slow, I'm here with you. Birds are singing in the trees. Every moment's meant to please. Take a breath, take it slow. Watch the river gently flow. Feel the peace of this place. Let the worries all erase. Neighbors laugh, kids play outside. Gentle breezes on a ride.
Guys, I'm trying to stick to my data flow convention, so I'm just changing a few things. It's easier and predictable for me to debug if I stick with my data flow, using my views model, like my views model convention behaviors kind of thing.
Memories that
Which means I probably don't need my parameter. It's not even being used.
every whisper, every sound keeps our hearts on solid ground. Take a breath, take it slow. Watch the river gently flow. Feel the peace of this place. Let the worries all erase. In the night, we float away. Whispers bright lead us astray. Stars above their secrets share.
Guys, I think I'm writing the same thing twice. Oh my gosh. I think I was already on the right track and I just forgot. So what I'm doing here, let me see. I'm saving my file paths onto, let's see, I'm saving them on a directory, into my local folder, and then, so what's the difference? Yeah, flopped. So I'm just trying, I've got the delimiting functionality. The only thing I'm trying to do here is a file picking. I don't really need it. As long as you know how to access your hidden folders, you should be fine. But do I need to make that assumption? I don't know. For now, I will. Because there's no point me doing the same thing twice. I'm literally doing this twice. Okay, cool. Let me see. Let me fix this. So I'm exporting my metadata, which me exporting involves me saving my file paths from like pictures folder, documents folder, videos folder, say, into my working directory. And my working directory is this local folder, current application data. And that's that. Then I need to call this feature, but in my external Visual Studio session. So that's what I'm going to do. But I had it here for debug purposes, actually. I actually changed the comment. It said debugging. I got so confused. So what I'm going to do, guys, I do have to be a little bit aggressive here and just delete all of this. I don't want to, but I probably should. I'm going to delete all that. And we need to test this class. So all this Parallax Engine core, I need to port it. I need to port the functionality and load it. Best way is to use a DLL, actually. Let me see. I'm not using Win2D stuff. I'm using like file storage API. Might be able to get away with this. But now, for the sake of speed, I'll just include the class functionality in a separate Visual Studio. Or should I use this one? Maybe I use this one. Because the thing is, it's just for time to demonstrate what's happening. And then in another stream, I can set up a separate Visual Studio with a Win2D session so that you can literally see the toolchain working external to the toolchain's runtime, if that makes sense in that kind of regard. But for now, I'll just use this instance of Visual Studio for speed. I don't really have much time as well. I was going to cut the stream soon because I wanted to go out. I want to go outside. But I need to check the time, actually. I don't know if my time's accurate. Sorry guys, I'm off screen and my computer is lagging. Okay. I need to set up a Win2D window, which is kind of great. It's good for the toolchain to have like a little Win2D kind of window for debug purposes. I think that's quite cool. I'm gonna have to go to my XAML. I think I got a Win2D window already, I'm not sure. Guys, it's probably be quite a short stream. Yeah, it's gonna be a short stream. I really want to get this Win2D bit done, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go further than like 2 hours. I'll be quite less than 2 hours probably. Let me check the chat if there's anything there. Oh, I've got a lot of chat stuff. Okay, guys, I am checking the chat. There is a lot here. I'm so sorry, guys, I'm behind on the chat. Hello, traditional software developer. Do I mean without using AI? Yeah, without AI. Yeah, I code. I don't prompt. If that answers your question. That is the name of my stream. Yes, it is indeed. I code. I don't prompt. Therefore, I am a traditional developer. What am I making? I'm making a toolchain. So I'm building a toolchain, a very simple toolchain, as my title suggests. What do I mean by a toolchain? Who's this? Anyone? Hello, what are you making, dude? Are you seeing the chat? Sorry, guys, I'm behind. Hi, guys. Let me update the chat because you might see a previous. By the time you guys watch me explain, the chat, the video stream would have lagged. So I'm a type on the chat now to explain it in real time, if that makes sense. Alright, so let me just answer on the chat so it makes sense. Hello, traditional. Yep. I code software. I don't build apps via prompting per se. So I suppose I am traditional. What else is here? Yeah, so let me answer this question. I'm building a tool chain. What is a tool chain? Simply put, all a tool chain does, it's just a set of middleware or any software that allows you or helps you to develop more software. Okay? That's all it is. And particularly, as the name toolchain suggests, the software sort of chains to each other. So there's some exporting output of one software that interrupts with another piece of software. Hence toolchain, because there's more than one, right? So I hope that answers that question. I'll type it on the chat too, because I think there's a little bit of lag. So by the time this is on stream, my typing would have been there like 5 minutes faster. So I'm going to type it out now. Oh, what am I making? So, to Tech Doctor, let me type it out first. I'm building a set of features that help C# developers build 2D PC games via Win2D library. Simple as that. Sorry guys, I should be really checking the chat. I'm gonna put the chat off screen so I can see it. Let us interact, people, my friends. Alright. So I'm gonna put what do you call it? A canvas, animated canvas here, so we can load Win2D stuff on the toolchain view, just to debug for debug purposes. What do any of you guys think of traditional coding? I kind of dub the term traditional coding, and I suppose there's no particular term per se. I mean, coding is coding, but because we have like prompt building nowadays, I sort of coined the term traditional coder for people like me who write software manually. So, you know what I mean? What do you guys feel about like traditional software development as opposed to, say, prompt engineering, prompt building. What do you guys feel about that? I need an XML namespace for my canvas. I have it here. So I need to make I already added this earlier. That's my animated canvas. So I'm gonna actually add my canvas to my XAML. Viewbox is gonna hold my animated canvas. Was it canvas animated control, I think? Canvas animated control. There's two. There's canvas control and there's canvas animate. We want the canvas animated control. The difference is that the canvas animated control has two threads, a draw and an update thread, whereas the canvas control works on one thread. So we want the animated canvas control. Let's give this a name. Main canvas animated control. Height width 900. Cool. Alright, canvas animated control has been added. Oh boy, okay. So when we work with Win2D, obviously we have to initialize our resources, our animated thread and our update thread. I'm going to use reference code for that because I don't want to do that all over again by scratch. I've got some reference code on my Notepad++ soon. I'm just going to load things up. This reference codes from my own code base. What are you guys building? How many of you are traditional coders? How many of you code with C#? How many of you guys build with AI? I'm very curious to know. Ooh, I messed up. So resources. Is it just classes? Really, we don't. Oh yeah, we do want to draw an update thread, so we'll get all of this stuff. So we're going to instantiate 3 main events: events to load canvas resources, draw updates, and update updates. So we can have a draw and update loop. Do I have the right namespace? I need a namespace, not sure. Again, my code base is going to be cut rough right now because I'm just importing stuff. There we go. I don't need this. Check in chat frequently because I keep missing messages. I did this in the last stream. What's the name of my control? In canvas, I spelled it wrong. Spelled control wrong. Okay. Control. What is? Anyway, control. Grab that name. I think I need to include my namespace. I'm not sure. I'm missing a namespace. Why is that wrong? Control. It's not that one. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. Canvas animate control. I'm not sure why it's not showing up. Maybe it's where I'm instantiating everything. Hold on, guys. Let me just double check this. Might be in the wrong scope. Yeah, it was just the scoping, I think. Yeah, I was in the wrong scopes. Yeah, things are a bit better now. I need to hook some methods to my events, particularly for draw and create resources. Excuse me. Create resources. Let me grab the signature. I've already got the signature there, but I'm being very lazy. Oh, I did that wrong. I loaded it on my Visual Studio. I want this on my notepad. Okay. I'm missing a namespace. This is what I was looking for. Graphics Canvas UI. Now I'll just hook my draw event first. I think the signatures are fine. Oh, I'm missing another namespace. It's probably generic, so no, I got. It's probably. Is it functions? Double check that. I think it's foundation. There's a graphics canvas. Type. I got generic system. It could be this one. Task. This foundation, which I've got everything here. System, generics. Yeah, Windows Foundation. I'll make sure my signature is okay. Yeah, I got it right. Cool. Get my other method sorted. Resource, load animated resources. What we doing? Oh, that's different. The signatures will not match, I think. And canvas control. But while I'm here, let me just get the other stuff. I update stuff. Know what I'm doing. I'm typecasting. Hence why I'm using object. I'm typecasting this here, this signature. Grab that. And I'll replace this because I was doing some fancy stuff. That's right. There you go. Okay, so I've constructed my events. So I have a working canvas animated control to display my graphics. Obviously, I'm using the toolchain for this, but it's just for like monitoring purposes. Yeah, you know, the toolchain is not meant to be the runtime of the build. The runtime of the toolchain is not meant to build games. It's a separate session with C# and Win2D, utilizing the meta files that are outputted by the toolchain that's used. But I want to put a Win2D canvas animate control just for debugging, so I don't have to load another. I'll have to load a separate Visual Studio right now. Let me check my comics. If there's anything. Nothing as of yet. Right, okay, so I've initialized my canvas controls, my draw update loop, and my canvas resources update. What's next? I guess it's to load resources, and man, this is so involved, I'm not gonna lie. I have to load the resources and draw them. But I've got the good news is I've got the code base, so it shouldn't be too bad. It might be a little bit involved because this code base was kind of proprietary to building a particular kind of scene, and so I've got all this like game state stuff. So I need to really generalize the porting. If I do it on this, if I continue on this stream, I don't know, man. I'm going to guys. I'm hitting up like 1 hour 40 minutes, so I am very conscious of time. I might split up the stream. Let me just see. Animated resources. Load animated resources. Taking the file path. I'm just grabbing file paths here. It's not what I need. I need to just load from file path, so I need this. Let me test this out. Some of this is so proprietary. I had like multi-dimension sprites. I had like rows and columns of sprites because I wanted like to do different things, like kind of a weird way of sprite batching on a file by file basis. So I don't need this. I do need a for loop. Index less than sprite file paths. I got a file path T. Let me see if I got my file path from earlier. Get file paths. Thanks to my data flow, I can just literally call get file paths and I can grab them. It's quite easy. That's why it's worth it, man. It's worth trying for me to at least try to adhere to some good rule of thumb, even if it does take a little longer. Like, I just literally call a function. I've got my file paths as long as I've loaded. It's just really nice. So file paths, index, get file paths. That's a list. So I'm gonna call count. So for each file path, I want to load it. Canvas bitmap object. I will need a list of canvas bitmap, but for now, I might not do that. Actually, it's probably better if I do. Canvas bitmap object. Load async. Index. Oh, maybe it's an async function. It's a function. Can't split my object. I need to actually make this. I may as well use global scope. I'm trying to avoid global scope. So canvas bitmap is what we use for 2D graphics, right? With Win2D. Constructing my canvas bitmap down here somewhere, yeah. Which is my image stored as a file path. I get the file path, get the image, boom, I've got the bitmap image. But since we're dealing with a list of file paths, I may as well make a list of bitmaps. Again, I should be really using good rule of thumb, but I'm not too sure how much I'm going to rely on this feature. Nah, I'll do it. Private field, public properties is better that way. Masterclass. Oops. Oh, I did that wrong. Well, if I'm accessing my objects, my canvas bitmaps, via my public list, it's going to be public, then I don't really need to make a property to access these bitmap objects. They're going to get stored in my list anyway, so yeah. Sorry guys, my stream quality is like on my dashboard. My stream is like not good. I don't know what's going on there. I must use Ethernet next time, hopefully. Have a couple errors somewhere. Doing that wrong. Oh, I did that wrong. So sorry guys. Actually, I messed up. Guys, oh goodness me, what happened? Oh boy. Oh, the coffee. Alright guys, I'm gonna cut the stream about here now. Where do we get up to? So again, this was a very kind of like Cody in the trenches of coding. I didn't really show anything that visual, but yeah, we're dealing with the tool chain. This is so we can display canvas bitmap objects on the screen. In the next stream, I'll try and get Win2D up and running so we can actually observe our loaded graphics on our scene. And then hopefully, maybe in the same stream or separate stream, probably a separate stream, I'll have Win2D load up on a separate Visual Studio. I'll try and split screen it, have my tool chain running, and then we're going to try and load in images from the tool chain, get the directories, which might be a copy and paste in Solution Explorer kind of thing. At the end of the day, it depends how I want to do it, because I didn't use the save file picker. I'm just saving it to the local scope of the tool chain. But that's the beauty of the tool chain in a sense. It is an involved process. But nonetheless, if I really want to be like simplify things, I can use a save picker. And yeah, I'm gonna cut the stream now. It is touching on like towards 2 hours. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of you, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. Have a wonderful second day of the new year, guys. Thanks. Take care. Bye bye now.